Y'all, this is Thomas here doing a update and a check-in on all my gold and silver bugs. Actually, we're going to touch a little bit on copper here, as of course, copper has seen some strong rallies as the EV trend really took off, and well, that was some time ago. It seems time just keeps flying. So definitely like and subscribe so you can stay abreast at all the newest and latest news and the broad markets, commodity sector, and of course the crypto market as well. Really trying to bring a lot of financial understanding and awareness of opportunities, so that y'all can do your own due diligence, follow along, and enjoy your time and invest in your future, your kids' future. And yeah, so with that, we're gonna look at a Kitco article explaining the softening in the precious metal market, and see if there's some agreements there, or if we're getting ready for a bumpy ride, or how we're gonna do this. So you got Kitco news. Gold and silver prices are sharply lower in midday U.S. trading Monday, with both scoring 2.5-month lows. The precious metals are getting hit early this week with the bearish outside market force as a strong U.S. dollar index is at a near 20-year high, higher U.S. Treasury yields, and the chart-based selling pressures as a near-term technical have eroded significantly the past 2 weeks. Okay, so really, I see this as almost like a Peter Schiff versus, of course, I'll draw a blank on his name here, Harry Dent. Yeah, at the same, so you got Dent going for bonds, and you got Schiff going for gold, but still calling for a bear market in the equities. So interesting to see how it's going to play out. There could be some tossing and turning between the two. So you got the June gold futures here, where it lasts down at $42.50 at a 1869 gold price, spot price. So that's not, I mean, that's not really that bad. I don't know if maybe you're just extremely new to the gold sector, but those are pretty good gold prices, and most reputable and good gold companies have their business models priced a lot lower than that. So, if you're a gold and silver bug, then you're probably a believer that the metal is worth a lot more than it is at the current state. And then what you're looking for is a divergence in price to value. And of course, for me, I like dividends, and the gold equities are, the gold stocks are definitely, the mining companies are producing well at the current state, and passing that out a lot in dividends. We also see a lot of buybacks happening in the last year. Last year, Barrick had a lot of insider buying, and they gained significant appreciation because of that. So you got the COMEX silver was last down 42 cents. It's around $22 an ounce. Still, silver has yet to see its spectacular breakout that's been called for by the silver bugs for some time. And Wall Street silver, Wall Street bets, the silver squeeze is still in effect. The physical silver supply is definitely short, calling around the U.S. for different bullion dealers, and getting a feel of that. You'll definitely encounter some of that. So you got the economic data point of the week of the U.S. Federal Reserve Open Market Committee meeting that begins Tuesday morning and ends Wednesday afternoon with a statement. It's widely believed that the Fed will raise the key U.S. interest rate by 50%, by 50 basis points. Yeah, amid the highest inflation levels in 40 years. The monthly U.S. jobs report is also due out Friday morning. So you got some huge headlines coming out. A lot of it has to do with the belief in the Fed ability or lack thereof to curb inflation, and how that's going to play out in the precious metals in that market. The key outside market today is the NYMEX, the NYMEX crude oil futures price slightly lower and trading around $104 a barrel. The US dollar index is subtly higher today and not far below last week's 20-year high. The yield on the 10-year US Treasury note is presently fetching just under 3%, the highest in nearly 3.5 years. So that's what, you're going to see a lot of, institutions transition into the bond market, as it is viewed as air quotes, of course, but a risk-free investment that has yield. Where gold or silver in a vault is not yielding you anything. That's more of a store of value play with, of course, up to the upside. So I mean, it's just different portfolios, different flavors, percentage breakdowns, and just learning and growing and really studying so that you can make these more informed decisions for for different stages in your life as well. So I would love to have a significant pile of silver and gold to pass on to the next generation. I think that'd be pretty impressive, kind of like a treasury chest, or just for feel, aesthetics, and understanding, and hopefully they appreciate the wealth preservation that aspects that it has. So hopefully that we have seen a rise in coin collecting and precious metals in the youth. So definitely not just old people's hobby anymore. So you got the global stock markets were mostly lower overnight. Markets in China and Hong Kong were closed for a holiday. U.S. stock exchanges are mixed midday. Okay, U.S. stock, the indices are trying to recover from April's losses. They got whooped up pretty good. Three major elements in the marketplace remains static, but still prompting risk aversion among traders and investors. Definitely risk off is happening. You got the Ukraine, Russia, you got the COVID and outbreak in China, and then of course you got supply chains happening with this no COVID, zero COVID policy. So what are we seeing? We're just seeing definitely a lot of softening in the markets here. Interesting to see if it's if that central bank, their position where we're looking to purchase gold at a higher price across the board, instead of that 1,200 kind of mark. Read some reports about taking it all the way up to 1,800. So we'll see if the central banks actually step in, or they're going to risk it, and we'll see. We'll see if they're going to continue to let the gold price turn a little bit more bearish, or are we going to see the central bankers step up and purchase that gold? So just so very interesting things happening all around the world. Some people believe that it's just a yellow silly rock, and then of course, I'm a contrarian to that. I'm gonna say, if it was worthless, then why would the central banks hold it in their reserves? So, all right. So technically, June gold futures prices hit a 2.5-month low. A price trend is in place. On the daily bear chart, bears have the overall near-term technical advantage to gain more power today. Bulls' next upside price objective is to produce a close above solid resistance at last week's high of 1935. Bears' near-term downside price objective is pushing futures prices below solid technical support at the 1800. Of course, that's going to be a big battleground, as it just has that psychological number to it as well. First resistance is seen at 83, and then at the 1900. First support is seen at today's low of 1853, and then 1800. Okay, so we're gonna see definitely some bounce there, some fighting. This is a little quick silver. You got the May silver futures prices hit nearly 3-month low Let me know if you're accumulating silver at these prices, if you still feel that it's cheap. Um, and Yeah, and gold, of course. A steep price downtrend is in place on the daily bar chart. The silver bears have a solid overall near-term technical advantage. Silver bulls' next upside price objective is closing prices above solid technical resistance at the $24 mark an ounce. The next downside price objective for the bears is closing prices below the solid support at the December low of 21. So you got that $21. I'm interested to see if silver breaks under 20. Again, I would assume that there's going to be a lot of heavy buying happening. You got the financial investor, one of the Millennial Money cast out there. He just purchased 100K in physical silver. So I think it's catching on. There's definitely some little hesitancy. People don't want to look outdated. I feel like some individuals are going to purchase the precious metals and not talk about it for fear of being looked at as a suit or old timer. Why not buy Bitcoin or some other altcoin or things of that nature, or Tesla. So first resistance is seen at today's high of $22.83, and then at the $23 mark. Next support is seen at today's low at $22. Okay, so there's definitely going to be some fighting here, and this is we're going to wrap this one up real quick here. This is just a little mention of the copper and how the copper prices are heading down. So definitely not storing copper. Don't want to have a huge vault of copper, personal copper storage, but I do like to invest in copper as a trend for the future and the electrification of the world. So you got copper closed down 1,415 points. Prices closed near the session low and hit a 4.5 month low. So some people who came in late to the copper sector and bought in that kind of at the top of that EV craze, they're definitely there are going to be some paper hands. They're going to shake. A lot of them are going to get shooken out because of the conviction might not be there, or they're not ready to hold on. So it's interesting to see how it's going to play out. It's a battle of the bulls and the bears. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. If you're bulls or bears, and if you're stacking that silver, stacking that gold. Let me play a little here. A little ching ching ching. Hope to see you all in the future. Like and subscribe for some diversified content, and hopefully shorten up that learning curve. Get in the HOV lane.